Okay, so welcome everyone. We'll be discussing the weekly contest 329 lead code, and let's move towards the first problem, alternating digit sum. You are basically given a positive integer n, and each digit of n has a sign according to some following values. They are, let's see, the most significant bit is assigned a positive value. Okay, so the MSB is assigned a positive value, and the others each digit has opposite sign to its adjacent digits. Okay, so let me just show you what it means. Let's say we have a number n. Okay, n comprises of digits a1, a2, a3, uh, and then a4, and then so on till let's say something of ak. Let n be and have total of k digits. Okay, so what the question is saying is the most significant bit, that is the leftmost bit, it will be positive in nature. The other one, because it is adjacent to the first one and the first one being positive, it will be negative. The third digit, because since the previous digit was negative, so it will be positive, and same way this will be negative and the story will continue. Okay, so what we can do here is like if we have a digit 521, so we'll first have plus 5, then we'll have minus 2, and then we'll have plus 1. Okay, so 5 minus 2 will be 3, 3 plus 1 will be 4. And the same way, 1, 1, 1 plus 1, minus 1, and then plus 1. Plus 1 minus 1 cancels out each other, and we'll be left with plus 1. The same way this happens, plus 8, minus 8, let me just 8, and then plus 6, minus 9, plus 9, and then minus 6. And we can see the positives and the negatives, they cancel out each other, leaving us with 0. Okay, so coming towards how this question could have been solved, well, there can be, I mean, I can think of like converting the numbers into an integer array, and then, iterating over every element, and then, according to the indices or the parity of the indices, like positive or negative, or sorry, positive or negative, not even or odd, we could have assigned, the signs. Like I chose to do it in converting all the numbers to a string, and then first of all assigning, the first value being positive. I assigned it to, I just added it to the sum because it will just be added. And then from the first index till the length of the the string, what I did was, see, the first in this loop, the first the first element will be having a negative sign, and the second one will have a positive, then negative. Like this is 1, 2, 3, and then positive before. So you can observe the nature of, the plus minus. When it is odd, you'll have a negative. When it is even, you will have a positive. Same way, what I did was, I just uh, using the and binary operator, like all the even numbers will have the rightmost bit 0, and other bits can continue. Like how do we represent any number in, you know in binary, from 0 to power 0, then 2 to power 1, then 2 to power 2. Any number can be represented in this form. So in even numbers, this is generally 0. So anything and 0, uh, and 0 will be 0. Any bit and 0 will be 0. And so if it is 0, then it will be, or even. If it is 0, like 2 can be converted into 1 0. And if we take 1 0 and 1, we'll have a 0. So if any number and 1 is is not equal to 0, then we are just subtracting it, like multiplying it with negative sign. Otherwise we are just adding uh, the number and just returning the sum. So this was for the alternating sum digit problem. uh, I won't comment on its how was it, the complexity or the prerequisite. If you are beginner, you might have solved this. If not, try again, come again. You'll be able to solve it. Okay, so let's move towards the second question. In this questions, we have to sort the students by their KH score. Okay, so basically we are given M students and N exams, and it is a zero with zero index based. So each represent I comma J. I comma J represents the ith student score in jth exam, and the matrix score has distinct integers only, so that will be beneficial to us. Okay, so you are given an integer k and sort the students according to their scores in the kth exam. Okay, so if I say that I have been given two, then I have to sort these students according to the marks they scored in the second subject you getting. So the highest one will be 11 and then 9 and then 3. Okay. So solving this question might have been a bit tricky. Or a cakewalk, depends on you. So if let's say I have rows and then columns. So what I did was I was asked for the kth subject. So I took out, I made a vector of pair and pair. The first value will be the score in kth sub, and the index, and the second will be the index of the kth sub. Like it will represent you know the index of the student. Like if I chose 0, if I chose the 0th student or the first student or whichever student it is, you're getting right. We have the subject, okay, and I'm just storing the index of the student that has the subject marks. And then what I'll do is I'll just sort it according to the scores. Like the first one will be score vector pair. If we have a vector pair, the first sorting will be done according to the first value and then the second value. So I have this, and then what I did was I just pushed back. Like this might be a little tricky to understand, but let's say if I have an array, an array of arrays, the first one, the second one, the third one. The representation is like this. So what I'm doing here is score of a of I, comma second. It is just giving me the index of the student, and then j. J is giving me the whichever is the like what it is pointing towards. Like if we have let's say, if let's consider this only. This will be given as 0 comma 0. The other one will be what? 0 and then 1, 0 comma 1. The first one, the first value, the second value. So it is giving me this value, the subject value, and then I am just pushing it back and I'm just returning the answer. I hope you are getting this. If not, let me explain you again. Okay, so what I was doing is storing in a pair. The first value will be the score, and the second value will be the student's index. Okay, so if let's say if I'm giving I'm storing this in this format, like for a score I, this will be the 0th index, this will be the first index, this will be the second index, right? Okay, so what I'm doing is for every for every j, for every marks, I'm just pushing it into every marks, I'm pushing it into the vector that I made. Like if in this, if I have 11, 11 is the marks and first is the student. So what I'm doing is I'm just iterating over the subjects and I'm pushing the value of these subjects of this particular student in a vector. And then what I'm doing, I'm making a vector of vector, and I'm just pushing that vector into the vector of vectors. It's that simple. Like iterating through the largest, the whosoever is the largest or whosoever is the smallest. Like this is the smallest, and I'm iterating over every other subject, storing its marks in an empty vector, pushing the marks back into an empty vector, and then pushing this vector into a vector of vectors. I hope you are getting it. Thank you. And let's discuss the other topics. Thank you.